artist, theatre designer, playwright and film and television director John Byrne is a Renaissance man from Paisley's Fergusley Park. His work is internationally renowned. The Slab Boys trilogy is one of the most acclaimed pieces of theatre to emerge from Scotland. And the TV series Tutti Frutti and Your Cheatin' Heart are landmark dramas in British television. Peter Capaldi first appeared on the big screen in Bill Forsyth's Local Hero in 1983. His acting career since then has allowed him to play characters ranging from Charles I to the monstrous spin doctor Malcolm Tucker in The Thick of It.
The first time I met Peter, he was in a Crown Court, which I wrote for Granada Television.
And I played a part called Flaming Eamon, who was a pop star. John's always got rock and rollers in his things.
And of course he's married to Elaine Collins, who was the first Lucille in the Slab Boys at the Traverse.
I'd known of him and was very aware of his work, very conscious of this amazing artist, both as a writer and as a painter, an extraordinary kind of force in Scottish culture, and a walking work of art himself.
They're meeting at Glasgow School of Art, attended by John in the 50s and Peter in the 70s, to talk about their student days and the creative paths they've since followed.
John Byrne, how you doing?
Nice to meet you. All right. Really recognise you. You're getting younger by the minute.
Oh, you are. Is that how you get there? It's been suggested there's a picture of you here, but I don't think it is.
Well, that is me.
He's just copying your style. This is the Glasgow Girls exhibition.
Oh, Glasgow Girls.
Not the Glasgow Boys.
I've had it up to here with the Glasgow Boys.
Really? So do you think they're overrated?
Overrated, overblown.
Right.
Over the hill, and I'm over it. The whole business of the Glasgow Boys in there.
But you know, I always hated their name. I always found that quite patronising.
Yeah,
who came up with that?
I know.
Let's call this group Impressionists. Let's call this group Surrealists. What about them? Well, they're the Glasgow Boys. I'll do them. That's not their fault.
They were just getting big likes recently.
Yes.
So it's very nice to see the Glasgow Girls getting a shout, and they look very, very...
Yes. The Glasgow Transvestites are very good.
They're the next ones.
They're the next one along. We can join them.
I do remember this particular seat sitting there and getting a real talking to by Jack Fleming.
Why?
Because I had been drunk the whole day and created a kerfuffle. Anyway,
So you got into trouble?
He sat me down and spoke to me. He checked me for that. Gave me into a row.
And so did you learn that lesson?
No. No, it's bad as ever. Going to go up to the head run now.
Right. Was it your ambition then to go to art school? Was that?
Aye, but we didn't know that was. We knew there must be something like an art school.
Right.
I came up, put in a portfolio, and then sat in a 3-day exam, I think it was. Right. When I was 18, I think it was.
But by this time, you've got quite a large collection of paintings and drawings. What were you doing? I mean, what was your work as an artist? As a teenager, let's say.
Oh, it was all bikes and guitars, and guys playing guitars.
Right. Because you were also into rock and roll then?
Yeah, it started with skiffle, then it became rock and roll. We were a bit
it started with skiffle.
Skiffle.
I think that's a good name for a biography.
And that's how it started. And it was all that, and clothes and stuff, and all that popular kind of stuff, culture. Then you know it was popular culture. Who called it popular culture then?
Right.
It was togs and the guitars and music and all that kind of stuff. I didn't have any qualifications other than apparently passing the exam, which was, one of the subjects for the competition was a windy day.
That's a tough one.
Glasgow School of Art, a windy day. So I just washing it in the line. So Peter, that's my story. That's vaguely my story. What was your story? You came here in what,
1976? Yeah.
As opposed to going to drama school?
I didn't get into drama school. That's what happened.
Oh, no,
I wanted to go to drama school. I wanted to be an actor. And they basically said, you're too big, your eyebrows are too active, your face expresses too much. Let's put it this way, I was slightly larger than life, probably, in my Shakespearean... I didn't know anything about Shakespeare, anything about acting. I just fancied being an actor.
Did you get Shakespeare at school?
No, we didn't get acting, we didn't get anything like that. So I don't know where... I mean, I just fancied being an actor. I wasn't really interested in the theatre or Chekhov or anything like that. Francie and Josie, that's what we used to see, you know. So I really didn't have I didn't have a clue. So I applied to drama school. And of course, me being me, I decided to apply to RADA.
The RADA?
Yeah, the RADA. And I was off their radar very quickly. And we went, and I went down to London and did all that and was humiliated and felt terrible. And I thought, I better do something. I'll go to art. You were here when rock and roll exploded. Did you have your drain pipe trousers and brothel creepers?
Yeah, and a camel hair coat. And I sort of...
A quiff?
Quiff. Aye.
And were you the only one?
I was the only one. It looked like what you would think an art student looked like.
Well, I came here in 1976, so that was when punk exploded.
Of course, yeah.
So we were in a band, and it had the terrible, terrible name of the Dream Boys, which sounds like the Chippendales, which, you know, like one of these male stripping acts. But what it was supposed to be was Kafkaesque. None of us had ever read Kafka, but we felt that that had a Kafkaesque, nightmarish quality about it. But our original name was the Bastards from Hell, which
that's a good name.
It was a good name because it was it was a punk time when you were supposed to have the most aggressive names possible. I think because I'm older now and it was my youth, I've probably romanticised it a great deal.
Oh, I've romanticised mine.
Yes.
Hugely.
Well, that's...
It was a lot of the days are quite dull.
Yes.
Yeah, and bleak.
Patrick, my primitive painter of art, you will always...
In the 1960s, after leaving art school, John returned to the Elderslie Carpet Factory, where he'd worked as a slab boy, grinding and mixing paint colours. Only now he was promoted to design work. It was here that the career of his alter ego, Patrick, began.
You embarked upon quite sophisticated hoax, did you not?
It was a jape.
A jape, right.
It was a kind of serious jape. I was back at the carpet design studio. At this time I had a desk. And I worked underneath the desk on a little picture of a man in a Panama hat and holding a bunch of flowers in a naive style.
Right.
And sent it off to a gallery in London. And said it was done by my father, who was 72 and had been a busker. And he said, well, would you send us some more of these ones? So I painted another 6 and sent them off. And they gave him a show. And it was signed Patrick in a naive, a beautifully lyrical, naive style.
Right.
Patrick with a wee curlicue under the... Anyway, that was 1968.
So
67, I beg your pardon, 1967.
And your father was quite successful then?
He was enormously successful.
And did they sell a lot of the pictures?
Sold everything I paid.
See, we will always be with you, Jockey Melly and me.
What was your first part, by the way?
The only place you could do any acting was at the Amateur Dramatics. So I joined the Antonine Theatre Group in Bishopbriggs.
Bishopbriggs.
Which did various repertory pot boilers, which they'd rehearse for 8 weeks, and you know it would go on for 2 nights.
Oh, that's like the National Theatre.
And I used to, it's like the National Theatre, and I used to make the coffee and help with the lights, and it was very, very exciting.
Peter's wish to become an actor unexpectedly came true after all in 1983, when he landed a part in the film Local Hero.
I'd met Bill Forsyth, who's a film director, as you know, and this amazing stroke of luck. He just said, "Do you want to be in this film?" And I said, "Yeah, of course." And it turned out to be Local Hero, so suddenly I went from hanging about in bands here and hanging about Sauchiehall Street and trying to get gigs to being on a beach with Burt Lancaster in a film produced by David Putnam with proper actors.
This is a natural place for a marine laboratory. We've already prepared some data at the Aberdeen lab. The North Atlantic drift, it comes right in here.
And prepare some food for later. Ben and I will be full time on the telescope tonight.
Yes, Mr. Harper.
Olsen, I could grow to love this place.
It was terrifying. I mean, absolutely terrifying, but wonderful too.
Of course.
And I thought, this is such an extraordinary piece of luck.
My father always used to say, you make your own luck.
Right.
It's very, very true.
And look at him, he became a famous artist.
Exactly.
Yeah. I basically couldn't get arrested after that in Scotland. I couldn't get a job anywhere, nowhere.
That's the way it goes.
That's the way it goes. You think it is?
As you know.
Get back to art school, back to the graphics department. No, getting him a job. So I thought, well, I might as well be unemployed in London as unemployed in Glasgow. I went to London, and gradually I got jobs in the theatre. I worked at the Young Vic Theatre. I got a job there and ended up staying there for like a whole season, which is great, just playing wee parts. And that was where I started to understand a bit more.
Yeah, you learning on the hoof.
On the hoof, yeah. But I'm interested in how, you see, you, to me, were one of the architects of the Scotland that I wanted to inhabit. A number of your plays, you virtually create the with Phil in the Slab Boys, the romantic rock and roll doomed Scots guy who you'll still see stoating about here in various forms, and the cheeky wee naff in Lucille. You drew them.
I drew them first. That was a great thing.
Yeah.
Because I could draw them, I could see them, I could draw them. And we cast the actors who were going to play them to the drawings. You just recognise them when they come through the door. Absolutely.
And this here is what we call a slab boy. You say it? Slab boy.
Slab boy.
Good. And this here is another one. You say it?
Slab boy.
Another one.
Another one.
Good. Note the keen eye, the steady hand, the firm set of the jaw. Note, too, the ass hanging out. Their trousers.
The Slab Boys was very much an autobiographical piece.
I suppose in hindsight it was. It was just used that experience of working in grinding up colours as a springboard for as to a large degree.
Is it autobiographical in the sense? I mean, for instance, is Phil you?
I am all of them.
You're all of them.
Yeah. To a greater or less degree, because some of them don't only appear for a. They're all aspects of oneself. They're all aspects of me, actually, as opposed to oneself. You create the characters and then set them off, and they just.
See, when you work, do you take any breaks? Because I can't see with the complexity and the level of craft you deploy that is not done without a great deal of labour.
Well, it is, because it's done with a great deal of labour, because it is labour intensive. Because you rewrite, you don't write at all, you rewrite everything. For your cheating heart, I actually put all this is typing paper, this didn't make much. And I just chucked it in the floor of my shed. And I saved all the episodes. And there was a set of bathroom skills in the garage, which was adjacent to the woodshed. I got all these, they were all written, pages, and took them out. I happened to be, and I put them on there was 12.5 stones of rewrites. So that's how hard you have to work to produce something that's quite slim.
Yes.
6.
I think that'd be a good way the television executives should get into weighing scripts.
I think they should weigh the rewrites.
Yes.
In 1986, John created Tutti Frutti.
Now that's a classic kind of
John Byrne death there?
Well, it is because it's slightly comical.
It's slightly
And
comical.
tragic. He was driving, and he was 3 times over the limit, and he's just smashed into a bus shelter.
Right.
Like you do if you're 3 times over the limit and you're dipping into the kebabs. So, that sauce.
You see, that is both tragic and comic.
Yeah.
So do you see yourself as a, I mean, would you classify yourself as a comic writer?
No.
No.
No. Don't ever classify myself as a writer of tragedy.
Yes, but you're
There's
a
no such
fine
thing.
crafter of jokes.
No, I can lose jokes, I can make up jokes. That doesn't interest me at all, as such. They're all organic. All the things are organic along the way, because the jokes spring out of there's lines. It's people misconstruing what the other says, mistaking, or deliberately doing it, or the ridiculousness of the situation and what people say in times of crisis or times of stress.
Have another French cake.
I don't want another French cake. Have you spoken to Eddie?
He doesn't like French cakes, does he, Bomba?
There's only one straightforward sentence of 3 words in that whole series, and it's "I love you." And actually, somebody says what they actually mean and feel.
Look, I love you, Kettles.
Would you think of yourself as a comic actor? I'm just throwing it back in your lap,
I think
in your court.
I think that I look funny. So therefore,
Yeah.
that's the area that I inhabit.
Do you think you need a long face to be a comic actor?
I think a long face is helpful.
It's very helpful,
And
rather
certainly-
than a wee round face.
Yes.
When did you do Kafka's It's a Wonderful Life?
Franz Kafka's It's a Wonderful Life.
Which you directed and won, and I say that I'm going to say this quite slowly and distinctly, for which you won an Oscar,
Yes.
a Hollywood Oscar.
Yes.
The only Scottish director, if I'm right in saying, in the wake of John Grierson.
I'm my mum and dad. And the Academy, thanks a lot. Bye.
That was just a kind of accident, really. I mean, getting an Oscar is a wonderful
I
thing.
always remember my father said, "You make your own luck."
I tell you what, it just confused a lot of people because I was an actor. But it was a great experience. See, I was very lucky because, I mean, I was in the business, so I could ask people like Richard E. Grant to come and do it, and Ken Stowe and Phyllis Logan and Elaine Collins.
What is this dance?
It's the latest thing. They call it the kangaroo hop.
And they all came and they gave their time because they wanted to make this wee thing. And I thought, those are the kind of people I want to be around. And I still want to be around.
Yeah.
I hate going on a set and finding people who don't really think it's worth being there or not very interested and they're a bit blasé about it. To me, it's this most amazing privilege to be in this place where you can make things, where you can just make wee films and stuff like that. And I want to be there.
And that's just the kind of creative experience Peter has enjoyed, playing Malcolm Tucker in the satirical comedy The Thick of It.
Armando Iannucci, who produces and directs and writes The Thick of It, very, very gifted guy, and is constantly playing with this technology, the process of how you actually make programs. The actors, the cameras have to follow the actors. There is no rehearsal. The cameramen do not know where we're going to go. What they have to do is they light the entire set so that you can go anywhere. They have to follow us. If I decide to walk out the room, they have to come with me. If I decide to go over to the window or sit over there or go on whatever, they've got to be with me. So what you've got to do, which is great, you just play the scene. You just
For real, to
play
the other
that.
people in the room.
Yeah. So everything we do is about making that real and making that funny. And it was like an acting kind of boot camp.
Yeah.
It taught me stuff that I wish I'd known, 20 years earlier.
But now you don't.
Now I know it, yes. If someone said to me, how do you act? I'd say, I don't really know, because I don't.
Oh, well, I think that's good. I think that's really, really good.
You're quite good at the old improvisation, aren't you?
Despite Patrick's success in London galleries, John Byrne didn't exhibit in Scotland until 1975, with a major exhibition at Glasgow's Third Eye Centre, now renamed the Centre for Contemporary Arts.
John worked day and night on this show. I would hope that somebody's going to come forward from one of the Scottish galleries and buy one of these things for Scotland, because he's undoubtedly one of the finest painters working in Scotland now.
It's quite remarkable, though, to have an art centre right in the middle of Glasgow.
Yes, it was wonderful.
John's work is now in public and private collections, from Edinburgh to Ecuador, and he's exhibited from Bratislava to Tokyo.
Cosmo?
Well, was he? Happy there.
So were you a patron of the Cosmo?
But we did see every film that was on the go.
Yes.
It was so handy, art school just been up the road there.
Yeah, so fed into your studies.
Indeed. Aye, things like Monsieur Rouleau's Holiday.
Oh, yeah.
And Les Dames de Paris.
Yes.
River, Jean Renoir.
Right. So this all added to your artistic education.
Oh, it was entertainment, but it was very enjoyable.
Yes.
I suppose it did in a way.
Yeah.
Sure it did.
We came here for the premiere of In the Loop was in here.
Oh, did you?
It was just this very strange evening because it was a very nice evening, but it was obviously this film that was full of very bad language. But Armando had brought his mother and her sisters, who were all nice elderly ladies, and my mother was here as well, who's an elderly lady.
Yes.
And I just have this vision of this, because there was a row of them, these gentle old ladies, very proud of their offspring being exposed to this foul language. But, you know, they were very proud. I mean, you take what you can get, don't you? I think I actually saw the Boswell and Johnson tour of the Western Isles, which you directed and wrote. I saw it in here.
No.
Yes,
no,
I did. So how do you find the experience of directing movies?
Well, I'll tell you, I enjoyed that to a degree.
We never did reach Iona. Our ship was turned back by a sudden storm. This radiant good nature of mine that strikes you so does not come from any spiritual source, for I am an atheist since medical school, but from my wife's falling overboard and drowning in the sea as we re-entered Tobermory Bay. She was quite the ugliest, most overbearing and ill-tempered creature that ever walked the earth.
And the Slab Boys film, we made a film, the Slab Boys, with two squashed together, two Slab Boys and Cut in the Rug, which was the middle of play of the trilogy. So you get 5 hours crammed into 96 minutes.
Yes.
So not entirely satisfactory from that point of view. But I really enjoyed the shoot with Seamus McGarvey, who was photographing it. And that was hugely enjoyable. The only other thing I've done, written and directed, was an arena about a self-portrait.
The man you once knew and admired has been sacrificed at the altar of creative writing.
That's it then. I think of the 3 that I've written and directed, that was the most enjoyable, the most satisfying one.
There was a lot of appearances of the Virgin Mary in that.
There were indeed. I just had occasion to watch it the other day, just for my own benefit. And there were scenes from Song of Bernadette.
Song of Bernadette, yes, yes. So, was Catholicism a major influence on you?
It was absolutely a major influence because it filled your entire life as a child to the degree where you thought about heaven and hell, and I thought about heaven quite a lot, which must have been the most boring, but I frightened myself to death for the fact it was going to be so unspeakably boring for the whole of eternity.
What about painting? What are you painting at the moment?
Yeah, I'm painting a biggish painting of a black guy reclining on a beach. It got a torn sort of shorts and a red scarf.
Right, I want to ask you about how you feel about art now.
We live in a crappy age and we have the art we deserve, for the most part. And that embraces all the arts.
Obviously, there's an appetite for conceptual work.
Because it's so much easier to get other people to do it for you.
Do you think
you
that's...
You may have no talent whatsoever, but everybody's got ideas. You know, everybody, I mean, even daft people have got ideas of some kind, you know, and I think if somebody crafts people to carry out for them, it's got to look like something. It's a brilliant concept, the whole bloody thing of conceptual art. But it's modern life. Modern life is very entertaining, but it's not necessarily the kind of journey one wants to make, or is compelled to make, not just wants to make. These are people that want to do things, they're not compelled to do it. For the most part. I mean, there are exceptions.
Do you still have plays in you that you
I still have plays that I want to do, I'm sure I do. There was a great play called Jerusalem by Jez Butterworth, which I thought was the best play I'd seen in, I don't know, 40 years.
That's great.
So it was just wonderful.
Yeah.
And that, just you come out and your heart sings. And I would very rarely come out of an art show in recent times with my heart leaping and feeling it was great to be alive. So the theatre for me is still a living entity, and I want to write. Any one blinding ambition, Peter? Any one blinding ambition that you will know one day you will fulfil?
You know, I'd just like to keep on doing this. I mean, because I've been around long enough to know that you don't always get to do this.
This is true.
Times change, and you know, and particularly for actors, you know, you go through periods when people don't want you.
Yeah.
And I would be very happy to continue working.
Yeah.
Because I love going to work, and I'm very lucky in that respect. I'd just like it to carry on.
Me too.